speaking of opportunities, recently you also did the Tiny Desk performance with the Locks, which was phenomenal. And you are the common thread between Dilla Jazz and the Tiny Desk with the Locks, which is two very, very different types of performances. But you're the common bond there. So how did you get this opportunity?
Oh my God. First of all, I got to give a shout out to Jadakiss, Styles P, and Chic. It was just such an honor to work with them, hear the stories and their brotherhood, how they stuck together, not broken up. But yeah, that opportunity came. A good friend of mine, Cartoons, amazing bass player, artist. He was able to build his, his thing during the pandemic. He's dope. And he had been doing, I think he's done more than one. And he got the opportunity to be the musical director. They call it Chauffeur MD. And he was like, I got the perfect cat. And so with the resume and, making a name for myself, we worked together before, but not in the, not in the live, oh yeah, I'm sorry, we did. We have performed before in a live setting. But anyway, he was like, yo, I got the perfect cat, and I got the phone call. And then the other person that was involved was this cat named Kiefer.
Okay.
Keyboardist and amazing artist, so he was a part of it. But they was like, yo, I was surprised it all worked out because it was so last minute. You know what I'm saying? So everything worked out, the budget, they were able to get everything in place. And so that's how the opportunity came. And again, nobody told me what to do as far as like how to present myself. But again, like I spoke about earlier, respecting the producer's original composition. And I know as hip hoppers, even when I started playing certain shows like with Collab, sometimes, and DJ Chaps was the DJ at the time, we would play on top of sometimes original production, which was cool because it gave it a live element. And I know the reason for that is because in the audience, sometimes the fans, they want to hear them original drums that are already mixed and EQ'd. Right. So it can cut, you know what I'm saying? But this particular time, I was like, all right, when I saw, because I've done Tiny Desk virtually during the pandemic with Pharaoh, Month 13, we did it. So this was my first time going to the official, the official set. So I was like, oh my God, I'm excited. But I was like, okay, cool. How can I be the DJ and drum at the same time? Meaning, how could I still, like Primo, you know what I'm saying? And you see Tiny Desk, a lot of times the artists, from what I've seen, they use acoustic drums to still try to give it. Right. But for hip hop, we want to hear them, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, boom, boom. I like flipping it. I like being different. Whatever people are doing, I'm like, let me see how I can go to do something that I'm not saying it ain't been done, but I just like to challenge myself and do something, that may not be the norm. So I was like, all right, boom, I got this. I'm a Roland artist. Roland, they've been around for years. They make these electronic drum pads. The TR-808, that's Roland. You know what I'm saying? So I had the drum pad. I was like, all right, when I get opportunities and jobs, I always tell people, you don't go to rehearsal to rehearse. You rehearse before you get to rehearsal, right? So before I even went to D.C., I programmed the sounds in my rolling pad. You know what I'm saying? So I went on YouTube, and then I also got a Dropbox with some of the sounds, and I just sampled them. So I was like, all right, I want to fuse both the acoustic drums and also the electronic drums and the real drums. And for certain producers, especially like Primo, back in the days, I mean, these are cheat codes that we eventually found out as producers, where you have to go on the tracks and find clean parts where it's the drums are by themselves. And I remember for like the track Recognize, I found them drums off of Nas's Light, because it's right in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I'm a producer, so I'm a nerd on that stuff. So that's the cheat code. I was like, all right, I know when people hear that beat, trying to play that on the acoustic drums ain't gonna translate like the real, Primo drums. The same for some of the other records. And then I just brought in the acoustic drums when needed, so I could have that balance and also pay respect to the original. I think the Tiny Desk objective was to be able to perform in this office and translate the original compositions in a acoustic, setting. Right. So I was like, how can I give the best of? And then also, you're not playing at full volume. You have to play low.
Well, this all leads me to a very important thing, which is I think a lot of times with rap, because it's so much about the finesse and the style of it, people don't write lyrics. I think we've gotten into the perception that everything is just so natural and there's no planning, there's no practice, which none of that is true. Everything requires tremendous amount of work behind the scenes. So for you, have you ramped up, or now have you found like a groove of how to prepare for these different things? Because you're doing live recordings, you're doing performances with jazz, you're doing performances rock, country, you got all kinds.
Yeah, that's a good question. FYI, I've been outside, and I'm not saying that boastfully. You know, I've been outside for over a decade, like studying. You know, I've been in plenty of genre situations where that was my training. You know, and once you get that training, you prepare yourself to be able to move. I didn't want to just be a church drummer. I felt like my gift was going to be bigger than the church. So when I started getting learning about other genres, I studied the basics of them. And then I eventually found out how could I add my flair, my flavor in them. So with the hip hop, I'm used to just going from one style to the other style because I've been doing this. So like I said, this ain't new. You know, that's why cartoons called me. That's why I got the job, because they want to hire people that, you know, when they have the budgets and they have the opportunity, they want to bring the people that can handle those positions. So I'm thankful. But I've been outside. So these opportunities, you know, sometimes you never know when it's going to crack. So I've been working my tail off, putting mad hours in when everybody's asleep. You know, nowadays I tell people we can't just be the drummer. Like, I'm the content creator. I'm also, you know, I have a brand manager, but I'm still co-managing. Like, I'm very proactive, and I'm putting more than 24 hours. You know, I'm editing my own content. The stuff y'all see, I'm doing the editing, and it's a lot of work. So it's spill over. And music is always around me, so I'm always listening. And for the Tiny Desk, I literally was at Planet Fitness working out, and I posted a video. People didn't know what I was listening to, but I was studying those Locks tunes.
Oh, really?
And I was on a treadmill. But I like to prepare myself, because it ain't nothing like being unprepared, being in a room, and you shaking in your britches. That's not a good feeling.
Not where you want to be.
No, because I mean, especially when you're in those rooms, you only got one shot.
Right.
And if you fumble the bag, that may fumble all the rest of the opportunities that you could have gotten. So I've just learned to just try to be ready, stay ready, so you can be ready.